We are slaves. All right, we have our first customer here. He's having a good chuckle. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I want to send a pic. I have a friend who sympathizes with your views.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I gotta...
Have you looked into it at all?
I've heard the arguments. I'm not too compelled.
Yeah. Dude, check this out. Let's go easier. You know taxes, right? See, I'm going to change my strategy a little bit, I think, soon. But you know taxes, right? When you work for a living, right? You're paying, let's say you're paying 25% taxes. Do you do that because you're required to, under threat? Or do you do that out of the love of your heart to make sure that society, all these people are getting your hard-earned money out of the love of your heart?
It's a little of both, right? Yeah.
Not really for me.
Okay.
For me, I would like to spend my money how I like. There's a lot of people who I think maybe $30,000 a year they steal from me a year in taxes. That could go towards. I think I could do better than bombing countries, right? So my point is that do you trust your government?
I trust them to the extent I don't think that they're tricking me into thinking the Earth is.
I didn't either, bro. Man, I'm 47 years old. I just thought about this stuff not too long ago. This is technology, NASA, right? So that's Skylab in 1973, and he's in there and he's doing like his little shower, guys, right? He's got a nice cozy shower. That's pretty good times, right? In space.
So, okay.
But wait, check it out. This is their new shower system.
Listen. Yeah. Okay, if it's not round, then what's it look like?
Well, we don't know yet. You know that there's a treaty called the Antarctic Treaty where they have made Antarctic exploration off limits. It's militarized zone.
Look, if it's not round, if you give me something better, sure. But the information I have, you know, all seems to point towards round.
Of course.
Give me some information to point towards something.
All right, check it out. I'm trying to, but
Okay,
here's the deal. Check it out. When I own, right, as a business owner, right? Conspiracies take place every day, everywhere. Because think about it, when a business says they're going to lay off maybe 10% of their force or 5% of their workforce, right? Isn't a conspiracy taking place amongst the managers and the owners of that business deciding who upon is going to get the axe, right? So what I'm saying is that the information that you've received about the Earth and its shape, right? These institutions that we go to, they are owned. Where do you think they get the money?
What shape is it then?
The shape of the Earth is, it's not a ball. It's not a spinning ball.
What is it?
Let me ask you. Do you know how fast it is? They say we're spinning right now.
Oh, come on. We're also spinning on the...
Well, let me just ask. Do you know how fast it is? They say we're spinning at the equipment.
Right?
1,040 miles an hour.
Yeah.
A bullet travels out of a gun at 1,500 miles an hour.
That's the motion.
Relativity, right? Yeah, I know. It's you're still going 1,000 miles an hour, regardless, right?
So what shape is it? Is it flat?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Why would it be flat and not why is it being round so much crazier than being flat?
Wait, now let me ask you a quick question. Are you asking questions to learn, or are you asking questions to defend your current beliefs?
No, I'm asking you. You're telling me it's not round?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it?
Well, actually, I'm telling people to research it, right?
Okay. So
what I'm saying is that if you have all these questions, and I think if you're serious, I've got a card right there. It's Research Flat Earth. They're putting out misinformation on YouTube.
Tell me. Okay, why does flat make more sense than round?
Oh, it makes a ton more sense.
Why?
All right, here's the first thing. Can you get water to stick to a ball, to the outside of a ball, and spin it 1,000 miles an hour?
Yeah. If it had gravity and the water was also moving as the Earth was moving,
Wait a second. All right, check this out. No man has ever replicated. No one's ever got water to stick to a ball. However, the flat Earth model, you could fill up a bowl, put some little islands in that bowl, and that's your model.
If I go up to you and I say, look, this is not a tree.
Right.
And I say, look, it could look, this could just be a big piece of plastic in the same shape as a tree.
Yeah.
who are you gonna believe? Me or all the evidence in the world?
You have to do I don't believe shit anymore, bro. I don't believe anything. So that's what you got to learn, is that stop believing people. Let me ask you, do you know how to prove gravity yourself?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Right. And do you know what? And you know
Does that
when
mean
it comes,
I believe in gravity?
do you know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is?
I know who Neil deGrasse.
Do you know what he says when it comes to gravity? Do you know what he says when it comes to what gravity is? Do you know what his answer is? Do you know what his answer is?
What does he say?
He says, "We don't know."
Listen. Are you also one of the anti-vaxxers?
Bro, I'm everything. Everything's a lie, man. Everything is. Check this out. You know the shooting that just took place? You know the shooting?
Yeah.
Fake, bro. No, but.
Jeez,
wait, why are you laughing?
But listen, okay, if you have the option to, okay, look, you only have, here's a good thing.
Have you investigated this?
You have access to all the evidence in front of you. So let's say a guy walks up to you and he says, hey man, a building over there is on fire.
Yeah.
Do you consider that as some amount of evidence that there's a building on fire?
Of course. Bro, I have cards, everybody, Flat Earth cards, research them. YouTube is censoring this. YouTube, no doubt, censors this information, folks. Listen,
when a physicist comes up to you and says, gravity's real, even if you don't understand it, you can use him telling you that as evidence for it being true.
When I first heard Flat Earth, I called them idiots. Guys, see this photo here? You explain this to me. According to spherical...
I gotta go.
All right, according to spherical geometry, right, there should be 8 inches per mile squared describes an Earth the size of that they say is 25,000 miles in circumference. Well, at that 8 inches per mile squared, we should have 1,700 feet of expected curvature over a distance. The distance this photo was taken from slightly above sea level at 56 miles. The tallest building in this photo is formerly the Sears Tower, right? That building is like 1,600 and some feet tall. You shouldn't be seeing it right over water that's freaking curving. Now I know there's refraction. I know about all the bullshit. But this is 56 miles across Lake Michigan, right? And that photo that made the news, and it made the news because it should be impossible to see the city from 56 miles because of the bend of the Earth, right? It should be hidden.
This photo also made the news, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it's on the internet, but it could have. Maybe I didn't see it. But this one's strange too. You know, this one you see the continent of the United States. Of North America changing freaking size relative to the ball, which is kind of absurd. I think
that's just how spherical projections work.
Well, supposedly, if it's taken from a further distance, it's strange how, if it was taken from a further distance, why not show that now they make the size equivalent to one another when it wouldn't have been. It would have been smaller in space.
So if the Earth is flat, can you fly to the other side?
If the Earth, you imagine, it's on those business cards. Grab a card, man, because I'm serious.
Oh yeah, I love the card.
Listen, guys, I laughed at this. I called the people idiots. This is, there's an ancient saying that says, empty your cup. In order to gain knowledge, you have to kind of let go of your current beliefs, right? Because where did you guys, let me ask you this.
Wait, what does the other side of the Earth look like?
What is the other side of the Earth?
If it's flat, there are two sides, right?
How do we know? I don't know, man. Who knows?
So it just goes forever?
I mean, if it's flat, I know nothing, right? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. You're telling me it's flat. So what's on the other side?
What do you mean the other side? Underneath?
Well, right, like let's say this is the Earth, right? It's flat. So like, if we're on this side, what's on this side?
How do you know there's another side? How do you know it's not infinite? Space is infinite, they tell us. You just buy that, right?
I mean,
what? What do you mean?
I'd assume that you could get to the other side.
Well, but assuming is no way to.
You're telling me you have research.
All right, check this out, guys. Let me ask you.
Wait, how come if you keep going one direction really far,
let me ask you a question.
To the other side?
First, let's ask a question, guys.
You're not answering my question.
I'm just asking you a question. When did
Why should you?
Because guys,
get to ask questions.
Listen, if you want to learn, I'm the one who's telling you that the Earth is flat. I believe. If you want to learn, listen to. And the reason I'm doing it is because I want to get you to understand how it is you came to believe you live on a spinning ball. So my question is at what age did you learn you live on a ball that magical water sticks to while it spins at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator? At what age? What age, people? What age do we learn that we live on a ball that water sticks to?
Second grade.
Yeah, right. Whatever age that is, I don't know either.
And then we learned that it works in high school.
Wait, hang on. But really, did you learn it in second grade, or were you told it?
I was told, and then I learned enough to prove it in high school.
You learned enough to prove it?
Yeah, about physics.
About what?
You're saying you're smarter
Physics.
than Kepler.
I'm interested in though. Now, if you let's say physicality in a physical world, how would you know you live on a spinning ball in this physical world? Like how without physics, without equations. You know what Nikola Tesla, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You know he said what he said about equations and how we got lost in equations, where we're making up equations to explain things, physical phenomena. How would you explain that you know you live on a living ball without using your physics?
Well, you had the Greek philosophers prove in
Aristophanes,
yeah,
or
they
his name?
measured the radius of the Earth by looking at the difference in
Yeah,
shadows.
there's quite a few problems with that. Guys, there's business cards. Everybody, if you want to look into this more, you should. But check it out. That can work.
Unfortunately, I have flat,
That's
so
fine. That can work on a flat Earth too, though. That's the point, folks. NASA lies. There's no doubt about it. They have there's videos in NASA of bubbles in space. There's videos of proof of harness. Has anybody ever looked up and seen NASA videos where they show the CGI, where the guy literally he's playing with a ball supposedly in his hand, but there's nothing there? Because what they do is they insert layers. Do you know where they practice on the ISS, folks? Do you know where they practice the ISS? In a giant pool with the most crystal clear water that they say you've ever seen. Why does it have to be so crystal clear? Huh? And why do you see bubbles in space? Aren't there bubbles in pools? Yeah, folks, I laughed at this too. This is how we know water is, right? Water always seeks and finds its level, right? You guys are smart. You're in Princeton, right? So how does water that always seeks and finds its level bend and stick to a ball that's spinning 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, right? But, folks, no one's finding curvature. This photo here this is the one that really got me. This photo is, and now people are doing this all over the flat Earth. It ain't the globe. This photo is from 56 miles across Lake Michigan. You should not be able to see the city skyline. The city skyline of Chicago, the tallest building is this. It's the Sears Tower. It comes in at 1,700 feet. According to spherical geometry, 8 inches per mile squared describes the Earth, the size that they tell us it is, right? There should be 1,700 feet of expected curvature over a distance of, I see you're chuckling. I'm interested. Why? It's funny, right? Yeah, no, I'm with you, because I didn't even laugh. I just called the people who said it was, when I found out about this stuff 2 years ago, I called them idiots. But over a distance of 56 miles, you should have 1,700 feet of expected curvature. It ain't there, guys. This photo made the news for a reason. Made the news because you shouldn't be seeing these buildings. Now, they tell you, what they told us is what we're seeing here is a mirage, right?
How do you know?
How do
you believe in gravity?
No, gravity, it's density and buoyancy. Seriously, you got to look into this stuff because we were taught this stuff through equations. Is really general relativity? Very few people, if it has been proven, very few people can confirm that it's been proven. Very, very few. And aren't there physicists out there who don't believe in general relativity and believe it's something else? I mean, there is conflict amongst physicists themselves. So anyway, getting back to this photo, guys, please take the cards that I placed out here, guys, and look into this stuff. Why is YouTube censoring? Why is YouTube taking down channels that post this information? If they're just a bunch of idiots, can't people think for themselves anymore? Right? No? Isn't that strange? Why would YouTube be afraid of flat Earth? Do you guys know how much NASA spends a day? Any guesses on what we spend on NASA a day? $53 million a day. What do we get for it, folks?
I agree.
Bro, this photo, so anyway, this is from 56 miles across Lake Michigan. You shouldn't be seeing the skyline. The guy in the news on television, TV programming, right? Is there programming your minds? He tells you what you're seeing is a mirage. Now, here's the kicker. A guy named Rob Skiba, he took a video camera, and he took his video camera and he videotaped that mirage about 48 miles away. He didn't get 56 miles away. But anyway, he videotaped that mirage with the camera on the mirage until he crossed Lake Michigan and he was right in front of the city, and you can tell it with your own two eyes, you're looking at the city. So was it a freaking mirage ever? And by the way, people are doing this at lakes. They're doing it over a distance of 2, 3. There's an old experiment called the Bedford Canal experiment. Look it up.
Why are you recording us?
I put it on YouTube. My channel, Zoom Truth. So I put it on there, and there's tons of people who are starting to question the lies we've been told. Does anybody here think you're a slave? Anybody here believe that we're slaves? Well, everybody's a slave. Every country's got this thing. They got a racket going on. They brainwashed you. They take your freaking money and they tell you, oh, we're spending it on roads and whatever it is you believe it is. But meanwhile, they're just keep taking your money to keep you poor. They don't need your money when you don't need money when you have an unlimited checkbook and a printing press, right? Why do they need to have to go through the trouble of taking your money? Huh? You gotta start thinking for yourselves, people. The very best people who end up in Princeton at this university, they're funny enough, you're gonna be the best at following orders. That's the truth. You followed the system to get here. You complied with their system to achieve this level of success. And you are gonna be successful within this system, but this system is evil as shit. That's the truth. That is the truth. So, I mean, you know, here's a brain teaser for you guys. You know, when you go to the beach, right, and you see the sun, you will see the sun rays at sunset. Literally, when the sun is just above the horizon, you will see the sun come, just like this experiment shows, right up to the shoreline, right? Now, even over a distance of 3 miles, you have curvature, 8 inches per mile squared. You're gonna have 3 squared is 9, and you're gonna multiply that by 8. You got 72 inches of curvature. How is that sun getting over 6 feet of curvature over a distance of 3 miles to your horizon line? Right? How is it doing that? It's got 6 feet of curvature. You shouldn't be able to see. The sun should be blocked off at some point. This is what you should be seeing on a ball. And I've done this at home. It's a simple little trick that you do. And then, yeah, I see you shaking your head. Hopefully you take some, oh, my card's blowing, it looks like. But anyway.
Got one.
Good. But there's a guy named D. Marble. He did an experiment with a laser beam, right? And he did it over a lake, and I think it was like 9 miles or 6 miles, whatever it was. He had about 40 feet of expected curvature that should have been hiding that laser beam. You shouldn't be able to see it over the bulge of the earth. Well, he put his camera literally at the opposite edge of that lake, only inch off the ground. It was like practically getting wet. Boom, you could see that laser beam, the point of the laser beam. It wasn't like you saw the line, you saw literally the point of that should be being hidden by the bulge of the earth. It has to be. So I haven't done this in a while. I'm rusty on my proofs here. But there's a guy named Admiral Byrd. Now I don't know if this is true, but what we think is that the Earth is, you know, flat, and that there could be some type of ice shoreline or an ice wall. Well, this guy, Admiral Byrd, traveled 3 years. 3 years he sailed next to an ice wall, next to one side of his boat, in the same direction, 60,000 miles he traveled, and it's in his logbook. And what's funny is it's in other people's logbooks too. You have to look into this information. Now, you know, where do you, let me ask everybody this. At what age did you learn, or did you come to believe that you live on a ball that spins 1,000 miles an hour at the equator with water that can stick to that ball? At what age?
Like 7?
Yeah. Right, we were young, right? And let me ask you, at that point, did you understand really truly understand the mechanics of what needs to take place to make water stick to a spinning ball? Or do you think you were more likely told it and came to believe it because an authority figure who you would respect, because of course we all grow up knowing that teachers, you know, they know, but what's funny is really they get a book and they're told to teach you the book. That's what they're told, that's what we're taught, right? So, you know, this stuff is so far out, I'm going about this the wrong way in a way, because flat Earth, like, did anybody here question 9/11? We must have about a lot of people here who have a hard time understanding how 3 buildings can fall after only 2 planes hit the buildings. The last building, Building 7, was a 47-story skyscraper. It's the first building in history ever to fall from fire, a steel structure building. Everybody know that, right? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it fell at free fall speed too. You know that, right? Yeah. So that's a little unusual. So nobody here questions 9/11, I guess?
No, I don't personally.
Okay. How about taxes? Do you consider yourself free?
Sorry?
Do you consider yourself free or a slave? If you're working, let's assume you're working and you're paying taxes, right? Well, those taxes, do you get to choose whether you want to pay or are you forced to pay them, with the consequences being that you're gonna be locked up, supposedly, if you don't pay those taxes, right?
You're not locked up, actually.
What happens to you?
Pay a fine.
You'll pay a fine. What happens if you can't pay the fine?
You pay another fine.
What happens if you don't have any money and you say, I don't want to pay the fine? Fuck you.
File for bankruptcy.
What?
You file for bankruptcy.
Well, now who gave the people who wanted you to pay the taxes, who gave them that authority to demand you pay them money? Who gave them that authority? Excuse me?
It's a social contract.
You did.
I never did. I don't want to be part of this. I was born here. Why am I forced to comply? If this is, are we a republic or are we democracy, right? As a democracy, they say that's mass rules. That's the mob rule, right? Well, do you want to live in a mob rule where I start to say, hey, you know what, man? I don't like guys who wear brown shoes and gray jackets. No more doing that for you, right? And I get a bunch of people, and the mob says, no, you're not going to do that anymore. Or now, mob rule is what is taking place now. We're no longer a republic. In a republic, you're allowed to choose whether or not you want to participate in the programs. Yeah, brother. And in the program, being one of them would be, do I believe that the government can spend their money, my money, more wisely than I could for whatever reasons they want to spend it? And if I want to participate and I believe in society, yeah, I'd say fine, I want to participate. But I don't have that choice. So that if you look up the definition of slavery, you'll see you are, by definition, a slave. Welcome to reality. Welcome. That is the truth, guys. Guys, check this out real fast before anybody else leaves. Look, all you have to do is go to your local municipal court, because I was fined for videotaping on the boardwalk in Princeton, Point Pleasant, New Jersey. I was literally given a ticket for doing what I'm doing now, holding a video camera and videotaping. How do they do that?
Let my man live. Let my man live.
So how do they do that, right? Well, they do it because there's a gold fringe flag in our municipal court systems, folks. Look in your courts, in your local municipal court. I beg you guys, grab these cards too if you can, and look into this stuff yourself. The fact is that when you go to court, there's a gold fringe flag there. That gold fringe flag represents Admiralty law. It's a military flag. When I went into court in Point Pleasant, it was the first time that I'd been in court in a long, long time, and boom, there was that gold fringe flag. Why is there a gold fringe flag? Why isn't it red, white, and blue, right? Isn't that a little strange to somebody here? Well, the reason why it is because when you walk into a courtroom in the United States these days, and they have a gold fringe flag, that represents the Admiralty law. Well, guess what? Under Admiralty law, you have no rights. You have privileges. You are then forced to comply with their codes, with their statutes. The United States was founded on common law. Look this stuff up. It's for real. And under common law, there is
Where'd you find this information, sir?
Look on that Flat Earth Research, and then also check out Truth Pirates.
What is their source? What are their sources behind this?
Reality, man. Like what's taking? Go into a courtroom and prove me wrong that there isn't a gold fringe flag. You got to go.
What does that have to do with this?
With Flat Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, but what happened is everything we know is a lie, man. Every freaking thing. You name it. Medicine, food, school, your court system, you name it. It's government. It's all. You know what? Does anybody here know what government is? If you break down the word government, you know what it is? Govern is what? To control, right? What is meant? M-E-N-T. Mind. Put it together, guys. Mind control. I'm not freaking around, guys. So anyway, I'm fighting my ticket with common law. I'm going to tell them that they have no jurisdiction over me. Now, it might not work because guess what? I'm not going. They literally scheduled me for a trial, and I said, wait a second. I'm on trial now for videotaping on the boardwalk, right? I said, do I get a jury trial? Because I want a jury trial. According to our Constitution, any matter over $20, you have the right to have a jury trial by jury. Well, guess what I'm getting?
Look up, bro. I support you.
Good, man. Look up administrative hearing, and that's what I'm having. So the judge who works for the state, along with the prosecutor who works for the state, are going to decide my fate. Does that sound fair to you?
I'm no lawyer, so.
I mean, you're in Princeton, bro. You have a brain, right? I mean, you did pretty good in life. You're doing good.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you're at Princeton, by the way.
I mean, I am.
Okay, super. So let's think about it for a second. Would anybody here want to go to a court where they're going to decide your fate if the people deciding your fate are getting paid by the people who are accusing you of the crime? Does that make sense to you? It's easy, man. You don't mind?
No, I'm not going to opine on this.
You don't want to what?
I don't want to give my opinion on this.
Why?
Because I don't want to get into
It's
that.
not really an opinion, it's just an answer. How about you guys? If you guys understand, the question is would you want to go to a court where they're going to decide your fate, right? If the prosecutor, the person who's accusing you of the crime, and the person who's going to decide it, the judge, are getting paid by the same entity. They're on the same team. Does that sound like you have much of a chance to be successful in your defense?
Well, how else would it work, right? Like, let's say you did commit a crime.
I can tell you how it works, bro. I get a trial and I have a jury of 12 people, just like it says in our Constitution.
Okay.
12 of my peers get to decide whether or not my story is straight. In this case, it's called an administrative hearing that I'm being given. It's a trial, but the court clerk, when I asked her, she goes, well, it's an administrative hearing. Go ahead and look up military martial law. That is military law, is an administrative hearing. Why are they applying a military law to me, a civilian? Because I'm in the military court. I know this shit is not easy to accept, believe me, because I was 45 years old when I came to learn this crap 2 years ago, and I'll tell you, I didn't sleep very well for the first 3 weeks. I was pretty miserable as I learned. Our birth certificates, guys, when you're born, right? Have you ever noticed have you ever noticed that your driver's license, any legal documents, always has your name in capital letters, right? Have you noticed that? Yeah. It's capital letters. Well, guess what? That's like a different, it's not really the same language as ours. So what happens is when you're born, your birth certificate, your parents unwittingly, they sign a contract. They're signing a contract with the state, with the government. And that contract literally on your birth certificate is going to be in all capital letters. So because your real name is, you don't spell that way in all capitals. Your real name is in upper and lower, whatever the word terminology is for that. So anyway, the point being is that what they do is they take that contract now, and what that contract says is you are now, have you ever heard where they said that persons are corporations, right? Have you heard that? Okay. You gotta look this stuff up.
Isn't it corporations act as people in the business?
But the definition of a person is a corporation, so it can work.
The definition of me is
yeah, well that's right. Well, no, here's what
I am a business.
Check it out. This is what I'm saying. So now, when you're born and you have that birth certificate issued to you, right? That is actually saying that in the all capital description of you is a corporation. It's a corporation. It's a corporate identity, right? And so now what happens is that corporate identity falls under the United States corporation jurisdiction. Did you know the United States was a corporation? Did you know that?
Like the government?
Yeah!
The government is a corporation.
Fucking United States is a corporation! People gotta wake up! This is all stuff you can look up, right? I'm sorry I'm so charged up, but it's pretty crazy, man. It's so crazy. Please grab one of those Flat Earth research. And also, the other thing is there's a website called truthpirates.com, and he goes into some of, I think he'll have some of the gold fringe flag stuff. I can tell you this. I'm gonna go way out on a limb here, and just to give you an idea of the kind of crazy we're dealing with. The Boston bombing, right? In the Boston bombing, there's a guy named Jeffrey Bauman, and he was the guy who had both his legs blown off. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, do you know the Boston?
Yeah.
All right, that dude, right? So he had a rough time. And I watched that thing live happen. I was like, that's crazy, right? So comes to be like when I'm starting to look into these lies, I watch a video called The Boston Bombing, and in it they show Jeffrey Bauman, who had his legs blown off, and actually you can look this up online right now. Look up Jeffrey Bauman wheelchair if anybody wants, and what you'll see is a photo of him about 7 minutes after the explosion went off. He's missing both his freaking legs, like at below the knee, I would say, really. But anyway, there's in the photo, I couldn't even look at it when I first heard this stuff because his like bone was sticking out. Like I was like, horrible, right? Well, learning this stuff, I learned that there's hoaxes and there's things called crisis actors, right? So I looked into it and I looked at that photo online. You can look it up right now. Jeffrey Bauman wheelchair, right? So here he is with no legs. And underneath the wheelchair, beneath him, and in the street behind him, the entire distance, there's not a single drop of blood, guys. Have you guys ever picked your nose and like struck gold and boom, you're bleeding out of your nose like when you're a little kid or something? Horrible, right? So my point is that how the heck is he missing both his legs 7 minutes prior? the one guy supposedly holding an artery, they said he wasn't holding his artery, so then it's a piece of freaking fake metal or who knows what it is, wire. But anyway, my point is that why would they fake the Boston bombing? And that's what I'm telling you, it was fake.
You think
I don't think it, I know it, bro.
You think
I spent hours on this thing.
Are you saying that like it didn't happen or that someone?
No, it happened for sure. Like but like a smoke bomb went off, a pyrotechnic firework went off, and what they did, I believe, dude.
Okay.
When I looked into
this guy had his legs blown off as part of a prank.
Okay, check it out. You can look up crisis actors, and you can see photos of what they do is they use former military people who have lost their legs, lost their limbs in wars. And what they do is, in order to prepare military doctors for the war and the trauma and the sights and the sounds and everything, they simulate war. And they call these people crisis actors. So the people who are missing limbs already, they dress them up, they put blood pumps on them, and they literally will looks like the guy's legs were just blown off, because they want it to be simulation, so that the new doctors learn how to work with the stressful situation. Because you know what I mean. If you've already done it, you can you're used to it a little, right? So these people exist. You can look them up online. They're called crisis actors. So what?
I'm just curious. My mom was 50 feet away from the bombs when they went off. Was she a crisis actor?
No, she didn't have to be. See, here's the thing. 50 feet away, she didn't get hurt at all.
No, she didn't.
Wow, that's amazing. That's good.
She's just down the block.
I'm happy. Yeah, that's good.
She was very fortunate.
All right.
She saw a lot of people who were very.
Yeah, no, believe me. Listen, it's called Boston Unbombing. It's on the video. But check it out. No, but before you listen, it's a 3-hour documentary where the guy picks apart picture, photo by photo, video by video, and you can see it clear as day. Now the problem is it's not the lack of evidence proving that this thing is a freaking TV show fraud. The problem is upstairs in your brain, you can't freaking accept it. I had to watch that video like 3, 4, 5 times, and each time I watched it, I was like, no way. That would mean that those FBI guys they're lying. It would mean that the TV news stations have to be in on it. It would mean that the crowd, all those people in it, have to be partaking in it.
I feel like that's a lot of assumptions to make.
Bro, man, so did I. But the fact is what they can do. There's so much that can be done. Listen, I like I said, it took me like 10, 12, 14 hours of watching that video over and over. I cannot expect a single one of you to say, hey man, dude, you're not crazy right now. I wish though that I could get you to go to that website, stoplookthink.com, and go to it and watch the Boston Unbombing video documentary on it. And you will see. It's like, you can just look up, if you have a phone right now, I can show you the photo of him he's in a wheelchair. There's a woman, all right, check this out. There's a woman, a doctor.